Welcome back to On the Line. It's Wednesday, March 20th, and I'm Corey Mull here with Olivia Ekbenet and Ashley Tishins. We are fresh off Adidas Track Nationals, the three-day meet in Virginia Beach, of which featured 4,000 athletes and one huge national record that we will get into. I know that some guys are patiently waiting to talk to us, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Before we get into that today, a little outline of what we will talk about today. We're going to dive into that wild 4x2 performance at Adidas Track Nationals. We'll talk about a wild performance from a fresh man in Texas. And we'll talk about the return of Christian Miller in Florida, a blitzing run from Sadie Engelhardt, and fast times ahead for the Azusa Pacific Distance Meet of Champions. But let's just not wait any longer. We got Archbishop Carroll, the boys here from Washington, D.C. We have Des Starks, Jake O'Day-Jordan, Demille Bostic, and Chase DeHuzis. This weekend at Adidas Track Nationals, the foursome took down the high school national record in the 4x2 in 1:25.36, just a year after missing it by just a hair. So they are also the New Balance Nationals indoor champions at the event, and they finished 2 for 2 at Nationals, and they leave this indoor season as the unquestioned top dogs in the 4x2. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So I know you guys are excited to be on the show. I mean, Saturday was such a great race. It was a fitting ending to the night. The question, what were your feelings on putting everything together at Virginia Beach, locking in for one last time on the indoor track together? And I'll start with Des.
I can just say we wanted it. We knew we had to do, and we knew it was our last chance. So, we had to come together the day before to even make it down there. So, yeah. It was just like a now or never moment because we were so close at our season opener. We just had to get it when it really mattered.
We wanted it the most. I think that we've been working hard all season, and we finally had the opportunity to do it, and we just came together that day and did it.
Yeah, that's what we did. So we came out there and did it.
I love that. And, just thinking about last year, we were kind of in a similar situation, right? Like, you guys were going after it. Just thinking about the team last year with Nick Harbor going to New Balance National Indoors, that was kind of the goal. Breaking that record did not happen. I text Coach Vic, I'm like, Adidas Indoor Nationals, let's go. And he's like, okay, we'll find a way, get there. And they were just off by 0.03 of a second off that record. Here we are again a year later, going after it at New Balance. Fell a little bit short. Text Coach Vic, I'm like, Adidas? And he's like, I guess so. Was there any moment during that week from New Balance up into Adidas was there any doubt that y'all wouldn't have been able to hit that mark? Or were you guys like, we're going to do it?
Honestly, I was kind of nervous going because that was like a PT week all week. So we didn't really practice that much. So I'm like, I hope I'm still as fast as I was.
I don't think it was no doubt, though. For real. It was just probably like a little rough for like the first day. So when we made it down there, we were like, we know we got to do. And we just, Wednesday night. So I was just out there to have fun. Yeah.
Following.
I think that morning.
Were you guys kind of nervous after prelims, just knowing that the round that you guys had going into the finals?
Honestly, I think we were more confident after prelims.
We ran faster than we did at New Balance, and we pretty much ran by ourselves. So.
Right.
Also at Adidas, I remember Nick Harbor FaceTimed Coach Vic after y'all broke the record. Did Nick have a chance to talk with you guys, and what did he tell you guys if he did?
Okay. We were celebrating, running around.
As you should.
Now, we know you guys, had this record you had your eyes on this record for quite some time. And I'm just curious, what do you think the biggest difference was for you guys this time around at Adidas? What was that big?
These two guys right here. I think because from VA, I was fourth leg all year for Adidas, and I went third. And so I think he did it. So And then this guy is just the GOAT.
Now, speaking of Jake there, I believe I saw you split 20.4. Like, what do you think for you was the biggest key for you performing your best? I think we may have lost them there for a second.
It froze.
For a moment, I think we might have lost them. We'll try Bishop Carroll's 4x2 on Saturday. Olivia, did you think it would happen?
I was commentating that race, and I'm sorry for all, like, my voice was completely cracking at once we got to the last leg, which was absolutely unbelievable to just witness Chase do what he did. I was nervous the first part of that race, and then once Jake had the baton, it wasn't until the very end that we knew he split 20.4. I knew Jake was gone. Like, he was out doing his thing, and I'm looking at the clock, and then all of a sudden Demille just grabbed the baton, did his thing, and then when I saw the clock, I think it was like a 1:03, and I was like, they're gonna do it. And sure enough, crossing that finish line. And of course, just think about what happened last year. The clock like stopped a little bit beforehand. They thought they broke the record. Everyone went crazy, and then once the time like corrected itself, they knew that they were just slightly off. So I wanted to make sure I saw it on the Jumbotron, that it was official, that they broke it, and then at that point, the whole entire stadium went crazy.
Well, I think we have Archbishop Carroll back. Ashley, do you want to, finish out with your question here?
Do we have him back?
We did for a moment.
For a second, maybe.
I think, with Archbishop, I was a little concerned after the prelims. I know they said they were faster than New Balance, but to me, I just was a little nervous. And especially when you come back from a big race, you almost feel like, did I already give my best effort the previous week? It's hard to kind of double back and go for a record 2 straight weeks. But credit to these guys, when the moment called of it late Saturday night, that they were able to put it together. And I really like the lineup switch.
Yes.
Putting Chase in a position to finish, giving him more responsibility. I think good coaches do that in those moments.
Yeah, I agree. And it allowed Chase to kind of grow into that position of like, okay, I am the last person to get this done. I'm seeing my 3 other Lions, my 3 other teammates accomplish what they needed to accomplish. And so it kind of adds that pressure, but it's a pressure that fuels that fire. So I agree. Love the lineup. And I think they talked amongst themselves too, like, this is how we think it's going to go down. Coach Vic had to trust them. I remember Coach Vic was like, yeah, they wanted to switch it, and I just got to believe and trust them. And collectively, it worked out in the end.
Ashley, any thoughts? I don't think we've gotten them back yet.
I don't think we have either, but I'll give my thoughts. I know I was at the 10, so I was at a completely different meeting, and all of a sudden, my phone's blowing up from Miss Olivia over here, who's like, "Oh my gosh, they just did it!" I mean, I know we're friends with the Archbishop and all them and Coach Vic, and I think you sent me, Olivia, a race after of like Coach Vic just like breaking down like in tears on the side of the track, and it's always a fun moment to see a group of guys and a team that, when they've been striving for a goal for so long. I mean, it's been over a year that they've been trying to, get this done, that they finally do get it done.
Yeah. New Balance was hectic. 5 teams got eliminated or DQ'd from that process. So that wasn't an ideal situation. So credit to them for coming back out and finishing out strong overall. I think we finally have Archbishop Carroll back. So let's push
have
it.
him back.
Hello, guys, again. All right, so I think before we lost you guys, I was going to ask Jake about, I think y'all mentioned Jake's the GOAT, right? So I was going to ask a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
I believe I saw you split 20.4 on your leg, and then, we saw you win that 200-meter title at New Balance in 2066, a new sophomore class record. Like, what do you think was the biggest key for you performing your best at the biggest meets, not just for yourself, but also for your team?
Because, my guys, I love them, so I just want to, 2 of them seniors, I want to get the record before they left. So I was just like, I got one for my life. Like, now or never moment.
There were a lot of good teams this year, especially in the relays, 4x2, SMR, 4x4. Obviously giving you a lot of competition out there. Everyone's motivated by something different. What were you guys motivated by each time you went out on the track this year? Was there anything really that was driving you individually on that track? And let's start with Chase this time and go across.
What drove us for real was trying to get the record. We really work hard because we at VA we were real close. That really like energized us to push harder for that record. So that's what we was driving off of.
I think what pushed me so much is I think for any relay, I want to have the fastest split. You know, I gotta run against Jake, so like, it just makes you want to run fast. Jake, Dez, and Chase, I gotta run fast. So yeah.
From the start of the season, we had a lot of doubters because we didn't have Nick anymore. We were trying to prove him wrong.
For sure.
Yeah, that was my motivation at least.
I would say the target we had. I'll say we have been having a target since last year, for real. So I knew that people were coming for us and everything. Once again, they were doubting us since VA Showcase. Some people didn't put us in certain stuff, but we knew we had the team. We've been working forever, so we knew that we can get it.
Mm-hmm. Now that this goal has been accomplished successfully, what are you guys looking forward to outdoor? There's certain meets that you're striving for. Any big, marks that y'all are trying to hit as a team? What does that look like for the Lions?
39.
Oh, that was
39.
right off the bat. No hesitation there. 39.
Interesting. So, yeah, that makes me. So, are we on? You say 39. Are we on national record watch then? Like, is that something you're trying to do too?
That's right.
And the 4x2.
And 4x2.
And the
We won
4x2.
23-1. 23-1.
Yeah, 122.
All right.
Corey's like, I gotta get him on
Wait. I have a question that we've asked before. Where would you rank? Well, I guess you're DC. Where would you rank DC in terms of sprint talent compared to other states?
Probably the very bottom.
Yeah, if you want to say deep distance for DC, I think it's pretty good though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like
I think we're too small.
Yeah, it's
we're
too small.
too small.
Yeah.
'Cause, like
Yeah.
Maryland just down the road, and
They
they
got
got
steppers.
steppers.
Okay, but you're saying you're going to go for some of these records, and you're going essentially up against the best states in the country: Texas, Florida, Georgia.
I think it's just Carroll versus everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What makes you say that? I guess, Demille. What makes you say that?
I think we're one of the best sprint talent schools in the nation.
Sprint
So,
U.
Yeah, Sprint U for real. So I just think we can. I like our chances against any school,
I like
any
that.
relay.
Hey, you have
We
to
want to
have,
stay undefeated.
you have to have confidence. I think when you're out there. I kind of have an off tangent question, not related to track. I know sprinters. You got to eat. You got to get energy. What is your favorite food, each of you? And something interesting about yourself that most people wouldn't know. So let's go with Des.
Wait, am I telling you my food before I run?
No, just your favorite food. Just your favorite food.
Oh, I like mango habanero hot wings.
Ooh, that's very specific. That is so specific.
Chicken wings are so good.
Something interesting.
Something interesting.
From Miami.
I'm from Miami.
No, you're not, bro.
It's not-
No, you're not. He was born in Maryland. My favorite food probably like mac and cheese. For real. Something interesting. Oh, I'm from London.
You already said that.
We know that about you, Jake.
Wait, look, you gotta say something else.
Oh, sorry. I played soccer for 15 years of my life.
Oh wow.
We talked about this.
I'm pointing at Corey.
in the Virginia Beach. Love it, Demille.
Nah, they didn't know that though. The people.
I knew that.
My favorite food, pizza, maybe, I guess. Just pizza. Pepperoni pizza, I don't like cheese. I like to do backflips.
Go on right now.
Can you do that?
Wait,
I'm not doing that.
how have we never seen a backflip from you then celebrating?
Go ahead, bro. Do one.
Come on, bro. Right there. Do it over there, bro.
I'm
No.
just not going to do it online and mess up.
I think we
I'll
need to
do it
see
at
a
the next
backflip
practice.
now. Like at a meet.
Next-
At a meet.
to celebrate.
Texas.
Texas.
Okay.
Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember last year we saw someone try to do a backflip after the hurdles race at UIL States and they fell?
Yes.
Just don't,
Yes.
don't be like him.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
karma.
You could also send us a video of you backflipping, and we'll put it on the show next week. How about that? We'll do that too.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's all learn to do backflip.
All right, Chase.
I'm not doing
What about you?
Sky
I say my favorite food, some lamb chops.
Lamb chops.
Something interesting about me, I played football my whole year. My
Whole year.
whole life.
That's awesome.
Whole life.
All right, I'm going to ask the final question. I'm stealing it from Ashley because we always love to know a little bit more about our athletes in this capacity. Do y'all prefer running indoors or outdoor, and why?
Outdoors.
Indoors.
Okay, wait, so we have 2 indoors, 2 outdoors, or 3 outdoor, 1 indoor? Okay. All right, Des,
Yeah.
we'll start with you. Why outdoor?
I would say indoor because the environment is like it's more crowd. I feel like, but outdoors is more fun, and like when I have fun, I do better. So
Okay.
that's when I choose outdoor, and it's more hot outside. Feel better. More hot. Yeah, but it's more hot outside.
All right, Jake, what about for you?
Indoors because I just like the crowd. Like outdoors is like there's so much space, so it's not as loud when you're in a facility. It makes you run faster.
Okay.
So yeah.
Outdoors. My whole life, I skipped indoors because I never liked it. So I'm just gonna say outdoors. I still don't really like indoors now, but you know.
I'm gonna say outdoor, cause when I'm inside, I don't know, I can't breathe that way. I go outdoor.
Real talk from Archbishop Carroll. So you guys are going to the Texas Relays at the end of the month. You've never run there before, correct?
Nope.
I will say this. You guys are talking about crowds. You're talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
track.
Welcome.
That will be an experience for every single one of you, and I think you're all going to love it. You agree?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Everything's bigger and better in
Love it.
Texas. You know I'm from Maryland, and for me to say that, Texas Relays is a whole nother vibe.
Yeah. So we're definitely looking forward to you competing. I think you'll have a great time there, and thank you so much for being a part of this today. Best of luck as you move forward. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That was the Archbishop Carroll boys who set a national record in the 4x2 this weekend at Adidas Track Nationals. Big congratulations goes out to them and Coach Vic. All right, let's move up. 3 other moments from Adidas Track Nationals which caught our eyes and really surprised us. Olivia, I'll go to you first.
4 other big performances because I'm the one that picked 2. So
Okay.
I'm going with
My goodness.
4. Because there were just 2 amazing performances. I think we can't overlook Avery Lewis of Friends Central out in Pennsylvania. She didn't have her best performance at Nike Indoor Nationals, and all of a sudden I just see Avery Lewis and her dad walk right in inside the Virginia Beach Sports Complex. I was super excited. So Avery just wanted to cap off her indoor season on a very high note. She won the title there with a jump of 20 feet, 8.5 inches. So kudos to her. And for me, I have a bonus performance. I was really impressed with Shamara Holmes. She put together a very solid 60-meter performance, and the senior from South Carolina set a new personal best of 7:38 in the 60, and I think that's the best way to end your season is to put out a really fast time and set a new personal best.
Avery, much like Archbishop Carroll, Mary Bonner Dalton, a couple athletes that performed the prior weekend maybe weren't really happy with what they did. So they were basically saying to themselves, let's give myself one more chance.
Yeah.
Right? Any other thoughts on that too?
I mean, these people are competitors. They want to be able to do the best they can. And hey, if you have another chance to end your season on a high note, why not take it? You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Virginia Beach is really fast.
It is.
Yeah, it
that
is.
track is fast.
It is.
Yeah. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go there, but it is fast. Ashley, what about you?
I'm going to pick an upset here. I would argue this was an upset. Annie Miller upsets Charlize Trinity McKenzie at the line in the girls 800, 2:12.52 to 2:12.54. Miller, she is a junior at Metrolina Christian Academy in North Carolina, and she's only a few tenths, off her 2:12.36 PR, which she set the previous weekend at New Balance. And if you look at what she did, she went to all 3 national meets. It looks like she ran 2:12.50 at Nike Indoors. Like I said, 2:12.36 at New Balance, and then she runs 2:12.52 here. So I mean, like that must be her lucky number or something. 2:12, like that's where she's at. Like
The
don't know.
triple. She
yeah,
ran the triple.
The triple.
I don't think
can't even
anybody
imagine
did
doing
that.
the triple. Yeah.
I don't
mean,
think anybody did that.
I mean, think about it, because you got to go. Let's see. Well, I don't know what would have been first.
Boston first
then,
to New York.
Then to New York, and then travel back home, and then go up to Virginia Beach.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best moments from Adidas Track Nationals because it kind of came out of nowhere. So great pick there. I'm also staying with the 800. Andrew Thornton Sherman won in 1:53.72, which was just 300ths faster than the second place effort from the previous heat. So he did win. He ran just faster than the previous heat, so he took the overall title. But what's interesting about him is that he is from Vermont. He did a little bit of everything this indoor season, including the high jump and the 55-meter hurdles. He told me afterward that basically his team needed him in various spots over the season, and he's the kind of team guy that's going to say yes to most things. And I think if he's only a junior, so if you're a college coach looking at someone like that who basically accepts the assignment when it is asked of you, I think that shows a lot of guts and a good team player. Those types of people are great on college rosters, so I think he did a really good job kind of showing himself over the weekend. And he's only a junior, so his ambitions next year too are to get into that 150, 149 range for New Balance, and he's hoping to win a national title next year. So props to him. One of the biggest surprise or the biggest shocks, I think, over the weekend was at the Texas Distance Festival, where a freshman by the name of Cooper Luckenhouse ran 150. Second fastest time for a freshman
That's ridiculous.
all time.
That's ridiculous.
It's March.
Ashley,
March.
It's March.
It's March.
That's insane.
Crazy.
What happened?
Okay, so let me preface this by saying that actually when I saw his name, I was like, I know that name. And it was because I remembered watching Brooks PR from my house, 2023, and seeing him win the boys 800 there, or the middle school 800, I think in 154. And I was like, okay, this guy's going to be good. Like 154 is an 8th grader. Like that's really solid. Who could have predicted, though, that he would shave 4 seconds off of that, and now he's running 150 in, like, one of his first races of the season. Again, it's only March. He ran 150.80 at the Texas Distance Festival, which, again, is just crazy for a freshman. If you look at last year alone, only 30 guys, so just over 30 guys broke 151 on the entire season, and that's including all grade levels. So, I mean, you already have someone here. Again, we're only in March, 150.8. Again, like you mentioned, number 2 all-time for the freshman class. And gosh, like if you look at his profile, like to me, it seems like, so he did his best last year at Brooks PR, and then he went 153. It looks like at Nike Outdoors. So this guy Cooper seems to do really well in those competitive high stakes environments. And I would argue Texas Distance Festival is a pretty competitive race. So shoot, we got to keep our eyes on this guy.
Absolutely. Olivia.
I need everyone to go watch the race video because he was not in the mix. Like, he was in the mix, but wasn't someone that, like, your eyes immediately gravitate to. You're like, okay, he's there. All of a sudden, the last 120, this kid just, like, bolts out running and just, like, grabs the victory. And so I had a chance to listen to his post-race interview, and he was saying how he went through, like, 55, 56 for the first 400 meters. And then, I quote, I hammered it on the curve. And that is exactly what he did. And I just thought it was so great that his brother had the school record and just kind of keeping in the family name. He was very proud of it. But I must say, when you look at his profile, like Ashley did, like, this kid has speed. Like, he went 22:12 in the 200 meters this year, and then 48:25, which is, like, pretty solid. So the guy has some foot speed, has some strength. So that's crazy to think he's running 150 right here in March.
His brother Andrew graduated this past year. He's at Tulsa, so also a great runner. Will said about Cooper that he's bigger than his brother, like as physically. So he has a different sort of makeup than Andrew did. But you saying he went out in 56 means he had to have closed in 54.
Yeah.
For a fresh man.
Fresh.
That is just, you don't see freshmen closing in 54 and an 800.
Also, you like hardly ever see anyone in 800 negative splitting too, and running something like 150.
You know who did it? Cade Flatt did it a couple years ago.
Oh gosh.
He was the king. He was the king of differential. He would run even splits across, and at his best, he was negative splitting basically the second half of the race. I mean, I'm really interested to see where he goes from this because it is incredible. Brandon Miller ended his freshman year I think it was 17 in 149.87, but that was in August. So
Wow.
Cooper in March, 150.
That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the season progresses on, you have maybe a couple invitationals where you can run fast, but then you get into district, regional, qualifying in states, and you only really run fast in those really big meets. So where do we next see him, I guess, is the question for a big time. Is it states?
Probably, because again, like you have the rounds coming up and you're just trying to almost like survive in advance. You don't want to put all your cards out on the table and exhaust yourself before states, I feel like.
Yeah. The only other additional note for this that we should be mindful of is, so it's Brandon Miller, now it's Cooper. The next on the all-time list was Michael Granville, 151.03, who has a high school national record at 146.45. Riley McDermott, 151.29. So really strong company for Cooper between Brandon Miller and Michael Granville. No pressure. We'll see where it goes, but best of luck to him as he moves forward. Next up, Christian Miller out of Creekside. We love this kid. He made his debut at Bob Hayes, and he ran the 200 in 20.51 seconds. This guy, incredible. He ended the year as the fastest guy at the 100 and I think the 200. So, Olivia, what's your take on this?
Absolutely ridiculous. I was like, Christian Miller, 20.51. And when you look at it, he went 20.87 at the Bob Hayes Invitational last year, and he didn't run finals. So the fact that he went 20.51, it's just remarkable. But I think we all kind of knew that he could give us something like that. It clicked for me when I watched him and I think just seeing him in person at the U20 championships in Oregon, I was like, this kid is the real deal. And he essentially ran that by himself because the next closest competitor was 21.12. And so this ties him, his personal best ties him at number 22 all time, which he ran that at the USATF U20 championships, like I mentioned, in July. So I'm thinking, wow, we're running 20.51 now, and it's March. Imagine what he can do by the end of the year. It's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thought too. Again, 20.51, he tied his PR from last year, and it's, again, it's March. Which then for me makes the question, it's like, gosh, like, I feel like now you're thinking about barriers, right? It's like, for me, it's like, how close could he get to 20? Like 20 flat? Like, I think that's the question. If you're starting off this strong, like, how far can you go? I don't know.
I never doubted him. I really like Christian Miller I agree with you ever since I saw him at Outdoor. And we see kids all the time, freshman, sophomore years, performing, and then we write about them in maybe Future Stars or other series. We actually wrote about Christian Miller as a sophomore in Future Stars, but it like passes us.
Yeah.
We don't really put too much stock into that until we see them in person running. I think when we saw Jelani Watkins kind of pop off early on, we're like, Jelani, is he the guy to beat? We have to be mindful of Christian because Christian and Jelani are very clearly probably 1-2, I think, this year as we look into, just the top performers at the 1 and the 2. I will say Christian is basically the Florida's top contender in those two distances. He's a world U18 record holder with his 10.06 from last year at U20s. But in 4A in Florida, he's got a strong field, that will likely compete against him. Zamari Sanders of American Heritage, really strong sophomore. Kaj Baker, Somerset Academy, really strong sophomore. And we also have Kane Stanley, who's in Florida. He won't run FHSA because they don't compete in the state series, but we'll probably see Kane in maybe a FSU this weekend or a Florida Relays. I mean, and if we get him and Christian matching up, who do you take? Who do you take, Christian Miller or Kane Stanley, if we see them running 200 meters?
I know my answer. Christian Miller.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
That's where my brain was
Really?
going.
Yeah.
Interesting.
20.51?
I'm not down that kid. No,
I think
absolutely
it's
not.
close. I think it's close.
So you picking Kane?
I pick Miller because I'm not doubting him. I'm putting my stock in him, but I think Kane is really, really
I'm
close.
a huge Kane Stanley fan. Just throwing
True. Very true. Mm-hmm.
Love Kane Stanley.
Yes.
Christian Miller right now looks ridiculous.
Okay. We're all in unison here.
Yeah.
We're picking Christian Miller. Okay. Well, next up, Sadie Engelhart raced against professionals at the 10 this weekend in the 1,500 meters, ran 4:09.70. squeaking by Nike's Lauren Gregory at the line. Ashley, we'll go to you because you were there. What were your thoughts?
Yes, I was there. I know me and Olivia had the chance to speak with Sadie on the Flow Track podcast before the 10, and she was going into this after running 4:36 for a meet record at New Balance, and we were like, gosh, like, you just did that. Like, what's the goal here? Like, what are you trying to do? And she told us, she was like, it's great being at a pro race because I can just sit in the back and hang on and let them do all the work. Well, that's not at all what happened at the 10. Like, she led basically the entire time up until part of that final lap. Lauren Gregory was the one that went to the lead for a little bit, but then it was Sadie who had the final gear there to take the win against, again, all the pros. 4:09.70. She's only a few seconds off of that automatic Olympic trials qualifier in the 1500. And again, she's just a junior.
Which is 4:06, by the way.
4:06, yes. And, I had a chance to talk with her afterwards too. And you could just tell she was, it was kind of unexpected. She was like, I didn't really expect it to go that way, but I'm happy that it went that way, because I think I asked her, I was like, you led this whole time, like, were you expecting that? And she was like, not really, but that's how it happened. And she looked really poised. And it was honestly really cool too, seeing afterward, like, there were some little kids like asking her to sign autographs and stuff. And it's so interesting to see those high schoolers become those role models too for some of those young athletes.
Yeah, she's definitely that person to that younger demographic. Olivia?
I think for Sadie, I don't want to say I don't know if she's experiencing like external pressures to like be out there and compete, but I think, as Ashley mentioned, just having a chance to talk with her at New Balance and just saying, hey, I want to hang tight. And she told me, she's like, if I could just break my personal best, I'd be happy with that. And her personal best going into that was 4:11. So I don't feel like she put expectations on herself. It's just like, go out there and have fun. Just go out there and race, learn about yourself, compete, whatever happens, happens. And so I was kind of chuckling, like what Ashley said. I was like, oh, she's in the front leading this race. She had no intentions of doing that. She was wanting to hang tight, let them do the work, and whatever happens, happens. And, not many high schoolers can say they took down a professional field, let alone in your outdoor season debut. So I think that's just the icing on the cake. Came through in 2:12 for that 800 meters. As Ashley mentioned, closed with the 4:09, number 6 all time at this distance. And Sadie just continues to impress me.
One note too that I thought was impressive. Her last lap, I think I saw was 63.
Wow.
So
ridiculous.
I mean,
Yes.
think about that.
That's wild.
Your note on external pressures. She's not a pro yet.
Right.
So I think you're incubated a little bit as a high schooler because you don't have all this pressure placed on you with performances and incentives and kind of all the things that are, tagged and tied
Very
to
true.
your efforts.
Yeah.
She is a high schooler, which I think helps her. So there's a little bit more freedom that you can run with there. I think one thing I wanted to mention here is just sort of what's her plan moving forward. We talked about this in the office before we got into the show. She told you last week, I think it was, that she is going to perform at the CIF State Series, right? She's going to go through
I believe so. Yeah.
postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a question I guess I have for her if she really wants to get to this Olympic trials level and be able to qualify. Do you maybe make a decision to compete outside the state series? It was done last year by Lex and Leo, right? And then you have a little bit more control over your schedule. I think that is a conversation that only someone like her can have with her parents and her coaches. But she is in that position because of how she's running.
Yeah.
It isn't, qualifying for the trials is not a foreign idea because Kate Murphy did in 2016. It has been done before by a high school in this specific distance. So I think she can do it. And if anybody could do it, it's Sadie. Like, she handles a lot of things that most people have never realized in their lives. So she's having a lot that comes to her. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty special, right? Mm-hmm. On what she's been able to deal with. So major props to her and great race at the 10. One of the big races following the 10 is at Azusa Pacific College. It's the Distance Meet of Champions. It's this weekend in California, and it will feature an array of the best distance runners in the state. Some of the action headed toward the meet, we have 18 boys entered under 4:10, 45 girls under 5 minutes. We're going to see some great distance races. Olivia, we'll start with you. What are the races you're looking forward to at APU?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the girls 3,200 meters. You're going to have Abigail Arrington in that mix, who already is at U.S. number 25. She went 10:40 at this distance, but there's also going to be other athletes, and I think the biggest question is how many girls can go under 11? And I think you have potentially 4 on paper who could do that. You have Winter Mertiz, who's gone 10:52, Reina Hessa, who's went 10:54, and then Sophia Guilfoyle,
Guilfoyle?
Yes.
Guilfoyle.
Sorry if I mispronounced your last name, with a 10:59. So I feel like Abigail has just gotten so much stronger over the season. She debuted her 2023 year with an 11:56, dropped her time all the way to a 10:57. So the fact that you're opening up with your personal best of 10:40 and it's March, it's like the season just gets better from here. So I think she's in a great position to just continue trucking away and getting closer to that 10-minute mark.
Ashley, let's go to you.
I think you and I are in agreement here on what are the event we're looking at, the boys 32 particularly. And I want to talk for a second about my guy, Ibsen Felix. I got a chance to see this guy at the 10 this past weekend, and he had a great race and won the boys invite 1600. He ran 4:08, and when I tell you this guy was just like over the moon and so excited afterwards, like I had a chance to speak with him. He's like, man, like in the weeks prior leading up to the 10, he was like, I've gotten a whole bunch of PRs. I believe he ran 9:01 for 32, leading into the 10. And he was like, man, I'm just feeling really good. And that's just the energy I like to see, especially from, a youth athlete, someone out there, high school athlete, they're just enjoying the racing, right? So I think all this momentum is in his favor, right? He, like I mentioned, 4:08 PR at the 10, and he was one that, in the final lap, he was able to find another gear that other athletes didn't have. And so if that's, if he's confident and stuff, I think he could win this race for sure.
That amazes me every year. Athletes like Felix that we aren't even talking about, that immediately come out and they drop a sub 4:10. Like, I wasn't even expecting him at all.
Yeah.
And he comes out, and that's the process of training, obviously. But that goes to show you the volume of high school athletics too. Like, there's no way anybody can have just a very zoned in idea of what's happening, because things work through the cracks all the time. 3,200 meters is going to be really good. Grant Morgenfeld's in the race, Joshua Bell, Maximo Zavaleta, Landon Petra, Josh Chu, and Felix. All these guys are capable of breaking 9 minutes in this race. And we look at, the guys who have broken 9 minutes for 3,200 meters right now, 2 guys from Florida, Jason Parr from California. Felix is close to it. Do we get 5 guys under 9 in a race like this?
If they're going for it, yeah. I'll say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Well, what creates a sub-9 race? How about that?
Ashley?
You can't go out slow and tactical, that's for sure.
Yeah, you can't be tactical with that one.
It's got to be a pretty even pace, I would guess. You have to have a pack up at the front that's very committed to running pretty even splits from the get-go.
For the first half.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then the second half, I think, is all instincts.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, if you set yourself up well enough in the first half, that second half is all instincts. And we know it usually becomes an 800-meter race at the end, because these guys are just saving energy toward down the stretch. And it's specifically, when we look at Arcadia, that's what happens every year. I think competition is big when we look at sub-9s. You need to have a large group of guys so they're all locked in towards that one central goal to get that to happen. We have that here, so it should happen. Is there any other race, Olivia, that you have your eyes on?
My eyes are set on the 1,600 meters as well. It features our very own Riley Blade at Nike Indoor Nationals. She went...
Who is a Koros next-gen athlete.
Yes.
Huge fan of Riley Blade. And then at Nike Indoor Nationals, she went 4:46 in the mile, so I can see her really running away and putting out a fast time.
Yeah, I agree. Riley ran at Nike Indoor Nationals, and she was only really getting started there.
Yeah.
10:03 for 2 miles, which is... she was 3 seconds away from breaking 10.
Yeah.
So, and 4:46 in the mile. Man, what do you think's possible beyond the Sadie, the landscape of Sadie in California? A girl like Riley Blade, does she kind of work off that momentum?
I think so.
In a way?
Yeah, I kind of like Riley as being that up-and-coming individual to keep your eyes out for. So, absolutely. Huge fan of Riley.
All right. Well, that's about it for this week of On the Line. I think we got a lot of outdoor track and field headed our way over the season. Indoor is mostly, not all, done because
Yeah.
we have some meets here and there that are still finishing up in March, but we are all, all forward towards the outdoor track and field season. So stay tuned on MileSplit.com for all of our content as we work towards some of the biggest moments of the season. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next Tuesday.